Good morning, everyone. This is a Hcalory Diesel Heater bought off Amazon, and this model said it goes up to 18,000 feet, I believe, elevation for this model. There's similar ones that look just like this model that I believe go up to 9,000 feet, but I think this one has an upgraded elevation regulator because this was a more expensive unit. And this unit here also comes with the keypad that you can see right there, and the control unit right there is Bluetooth, so you can use the Hcalory app on your phone to control the Fahrenheit, the elevation. You can turn it on and off with your phone. When you do turn it off, it'll cool down, and it looks like one of the most important aspects of this Hcalory Diesel Heater is to not unplug it when shutting it down, because when you press the off button on the Hcalory Diesel Heater, it'll need between 5 and 10 minutes to properly cool itself down. So when you press the off button on the app or on the key fob or on the control unit right there on the LCD screen, it's important not to turn off or unplug that power unit, that black power unit, because the Hcalory Diesel Heater absolutely needs power to cool the machine down. And it looks like in the documentation and the user manual that this is very important. So when I got it, I took it out of the box. I hooked up the exhaust and exit ports and the intake port. And with this machine, I did not happen to prime it. I plugged the machine in. I added diesel fuel. My diesel fuel's over there. Anyway, and the unit primed itself on the very first try. So that's all I did when I took it out of the box. I installed the exhaust, which is, well, they give you about a 3-foot pipe for the exhaust. That's that shiny pipe here. This is a different pipe that I upgraded for a longer exit to exit out of the garage. And there is the muffler there, and then outside of the muffler is about a 1.5 to 2 feet exit pipe that you can't see, that's exiting out of the garage. I hooked up the intake, which is this pipe here. The intake. I hooked up the exit pipe, and then I plugged the unit into the wall, which is also why I got this unit. I wanted to heat up the garage here, and as well as take it camping and the 12-volt options that are available here. But at first I really wanted to plug it in and just have a plug-and-play system. So out of the box I installed those 3 things: intake, exhaust, outlet, heat outlet. I plugged in the power unit, and then I took off the gas cap and I added diesel. And then I came over to the app. I set the app up, which just takes a couple seconds to turn on Bluetooth. The Bluetooth will find the Hcalory unit, and then I pressed on start up. So when I pressed on start, the unit just started priming itself on the first startup. I didn't have to go to the LCD screen in my particular case to tell it to prime. It just started priming the very first try, which I thought was cool. I wasn't too familiar with this LCD, and got a little impatient, didn't know how to prime the unit. So luckily, This Hcalory unit primes itself, or it did in my case, before the first startup. It primed for maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and then the unit started kicking on the fans, and then it started heating up, and all is good. So after that first initial startup, I'd say that was the only time that I was able to see any type of exhaust fumes come out of the exhaust. Was probably the first and or second startup. Saw a little bit dark exhaust come out of the exhaust pipe, but have not seen any type of soot buildup or exhaust, buildup since then. This muffler is very nice and quiet. This pipe gets very hot, up to 400 degrees, so I wouldn't advise touching this, but this right here has an aluminum baffle around it. So this is not as hot, and then this gets hotter once it exits out of the exhaust right here. So you can see there's no soot buildup or anything like that. The exhaust is lower than the exhaust outlet. That's important with most types of machinery, that the exhaust needs to be lower than the actual diesel heater unit. That way, just incidentally, you can't back up any condensation through this whole line and potentially plug up the exhaust here. So it's important that you kind of want to lift up your heater. It could be by a couple inches, it could be by a couple feet. The point is, you want to let the exhaust be able to drain some of the condensation. And that's what this exhaust does. In most of these Chinese units that they give you, this hole right here is a drainage hole for condensation. So I have it sideways here so that the garage will close. But technically, this needs to be moved so that this can drain. That's a little drainage pipe. And you can see some of the drainage right now. That's condensation from the Hcalory unit that's running. And it's running on level 6 right now, or the highest unit. That's just some condensation that's come out of the little baffle here. So you want to make sure that your exhaust right here has this little thing pointed down. And you can see the condensation right here is building up, and this is why you need it to be like this. So just remember that little nipple thing face down. This is level 6 right now. I can hear the fan, but I can't hear any clicking. I'm about 2 feet away from the unit, just standing right here, and I cannot hear any clicking, which is good. Some people complain that the clicking is noisy, and with this unit, it is not. I ended up buying a splitter here to be able to help heat up the garage, and it is kicking ass and throwing out some heat. So this is the Hcalory unit with Bluetooth, and goes up to, I believe the documentation says 18,000 feet for the Hcalory Diesel Heater.